does that. It's supposed to be default. It's supposed to, my beautiful microphone is supposed to be default, but it's not. Anyway, welcome to episode 192 of Rickcast. If it sounds weird and it looks weird, it's because it is weird. This show is being recorded when you guys are watching it. I'm actually leaving the AR-15 certification course I'm doing Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I thought the course was originally from 8 to 5. Turns out the course is from 9 to 6. So I'm not going to have any time to come home and do the live show with you guys today and tomorrow. Wednesday, I'm going to make it work for the Council of St. Michael because it's the Council of St. Michael. So I'm hoping we actually might get out because it's the last day. I'm hoping we might get out a little bit early, but I'll play that one by ear. But anyway, here's the show for you. It is Monday. It is the 29th of September. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I had a pretty good weekend. And I hope you guys, hope the wrenches are assembling in the chat room as we speak. Like I said, I'm going to have to keep the show under an hour in order to record it and broadcast it when I want to. So we're going to only cover one story today, and that's going to be the biggest story of the weekend. Today is going to be a story about Monday shows usually are about what happened on the weekend. But tomorrow's show will just be a recap of what happened today. It's not going to be as topical as it usually is, but I want to make sure I have something out there for you, and the algorithm will punish me if I don't have any new shows out. So, and I apologize that it's not the usual format, but we're adapting to the situation and moving about. So do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, if you like the show, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, share the show with your friends. We actually hit crazy numbers on Friday. We had almost 400 people watch the show on Friday, which for a Friday show it just doesn't make sense. But thank you to everybody who's watching. Thank you to everybody who's liking the show, sharing the show around. You are the ones that make the show possible. So thank you very much for all your help. And I hope you're enjoying the content and what we're doing here. And if not, send me an email, barrettbrief@gmail.com. Let me know what I can do better, what I can do to help you out, to make this a worthy, I don't want to say use of your time. I was going to say excuse, but a worthy use of your time. Anyway, I'm going to shut up here because time is limited, and we are going to get to our first story of the night. Well, it's our only story, but before we get to our story, we are going to do our sponsors, because we love our sponsors. We love them. They're great people, and we just want to talk about them. And that is obviously tradflags.com. The month of September is coming to a close, but that doesn't mean you can't go out and get a beautiful flag from tradflags.com. You can get started on the month of October, which is going to be the month dedicated to the Holy Rosary. So you should absolutely check that out at tradflags.com. It is a beautiful flag for the month of October for the Holy Rosary right here. Gorgeous, gorgeous flag. And if you like the flag at tradflags.com, do me a favor. If you're going to buy it, use the promo code RICKCAST. You get 10% off your order, 10% off your order at tradflags.com. Tradflags.com was the first company to come out and support this channel, and so we are deeply, deeply appreciated of the folks at tradflags.com. 3x5 flags, durable, two-sided, gorgeously made flags. Tradflags.com, promo code RICKCAST. Thank you to the great folks over at tradflags.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So the big story of the weekend was unfortunately more violence that is affecting church-going communities. And it's pretty sad to see these things take place, because we don't want to live in a society that is violent. We don't want to live in a society that we have to worry about. Now, people like myself and others have been saying the way we're going is going to lead us to something like that. But there's a difference between warning about it and actually having to deal with it in an everyday sense. And I think it's also a product of being too fat, too comfortable, too lazy for too long. And people are just that. There's, of course, if you've watched this show for any length of time, we have been dealing with economic factors that always increase violence. So we're kind of having this cresting moment. I've been saying that for a while. This cresting moment of a lot of different factors kind of coming together and dealing with those factors. And that's going to be, unfortunately, today's show topic, which was 4 people are dead, 8 people are wounded in this shooting and this fire that took place at an LDS church in Michigan. Now, it is a Mormon church. Let me get this out of the way. The left, or the media, the mainstream media, is calling it a Christian church, and my fellow Catholics and some of my friends, some of the people I work with, are quick to point out that Mormons aren't Christians. Let's be careful about that. And I get it. I do. I understand that, and I would make that point too. I just think that we kind of need to scale back a little bit about the fact that they may not be Christians, but this is violence against religious organizations and or groups that are not typically left-wing aligned. If you want me to really give you a long, drawn-out example. So there was a shooting and a fire that occurred at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan, resulting in 4 deaths and 8 injuries as confirmed by police reports. We'll talk about all these one by one. The shooter, who was identified as Jacob Sanford, died on the scene following a shootout with the police. Victims included churchgoers during the service, with hundreds present when the attack occurred. And then, of course, Governor Gretchen Whitmer wasted no time in calling for violence. Anyway, so what happened here is during a service, you had a guy in a Chevy pickup truck with American flags on the back and a lot of other quote unquote right-wing propaganda on it, ram into this church, start shooting the church up. Apparently IEDs were placed around the scene. Let me see if we can get this set up for you. I'm actually going to go to the video because we have the debrief. We have the police talking about what happened at the scene. So we're going to get to that, and I'll show that to you guys. About 2 minutes long here, where the police department talks about. And the thing is, we're going to talk about the actual video, but the Council of St. Michael, we've been talking about it all. We talked about it all day Sunday, and we're going to break this thing down top to bottom on Wednesday on the Council of St. Michael, but I at least wanted to cover it today. So this was the debrief, or another press conference by the local police.
10:25 a.m. I want to talk about our officer's response. That call came out at 10:25 a.m. in 32 seconds. We had officers on scene at 10:25 and 57 seconds. The suspect, again, we're in the preliminary stages right now, was neutralized at 10:33:44 in the parking lot of that church. That suspect is a 40-year-old male from the city of Burton, who we identified as Thomas Jacob Sanford. That's Thomas Jacob Sanford, S-A-N-F-O-R-D. Currently, where we're at, an update. I gave you 10 victims who were victims of gunshot. Since then, we have 2 victims who are now deceased. One additional one had died at a local hospital. And again, that suspect is deceased as well. 7 other victims at this time are in stable condition. 1 is in critical condition. Now, for the reunification, I had a question earlier about, hey, where can people call to see if their loved one is okay at the reunification center? I want to provide a number for you for that. It's 248-705-5785. 7352. Also, I know that our community is hurting right now, and we want to provide some resources for our community moving forward. At the Genesis Athletic Club in Grand Blanc for Monday and Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., we will have services for the community.
Okay, thanks, bud. Tough situation for him. I get it. So these are the facts that according now, this is being recorded at 6 a.m. Monday, the 29th of September. So I don't like the word facts, but this is a pretty good sheet if you want to get yourself at least an idea of what's being reported. I'm sure tomorrow when I record at this time, there will be new facts. And let's just get this out of the way. This is going to be used by the left and it's going to be used by the right to further political agendas. But the fact of the matter is, violence against religious people is been accepted for a long time. Violence against right-leaning politics, if right-leaning church or religions. Mormons tend to be right-wing. That's I'm trying to use as many qualifiers on that because not all, now obviously not all, but they tend to have more right-leaning politics. So we have that. And also, we have to understand that the number of attacks, and I'm just thinking about this on the fly, number of attacks on religious institutions in Michigan. Because there was another attack at a church just recently. Now, of course, AI is like, I don't know what you mean, because if it's right, they're not going to report these kinds of things. I know there was an attack on a church in Michigan very recently. So Michigan has been led by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, very okay at turning a blind eye to certain types of violence. And that's not me being a hater or anything like that. That's just a fact. And so let's go through this again. Just want to give that qualifier that this lady saying facts. I'm saying this is the information that's being put out there. That information may change as the days go on. Just understand that both sides have already picked this thing to death, as far as, well, he was this, well, he was that, this is that, and this is this. The fact of the matter is, I think it's actually a psyop, but because of the vets and the flags and all these other kinds of things. So, but we'll talk about them. So, as stated in that press conference, Thomas Jacob Sanford, 40, U.S. Marine, served from 2004 to 2008, married with a wife and a young son. Online fundraiser to support son's rare medical condition, which is another factor he was probably dealing with, medical bills and things of that nature, where maybe he thought if he suicided himself by cop, life insurance money for his family, right? I don't know. There's always those kinds of things. So there's that to consider. The attack was yesterday at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Michigan, 10:25 Eastern. Inside the church, people say hundreds of worshipers were present when it began. The church was engulfed in a massive blaze during and after the attack, with aerial footage showing huge plumes of black smoke. It was described as a Chevy Silverado decorated with American flags, which is just very strange. It's not impossible. There's nothing that's ever impossible in life. But the idea that this would be a dedicated Trump supporter who would go out and attack supposedly Trump supporters is just a very strange concept. Doesn't mean it's not real. It does seem more as of the markings of something else. What that is, I'm gonna give you a cop out and say I can't tell you what that is. There's others that have said other types of things, MK Ultra, all these other kinds of things. I'm not going to get into that. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but we have to understand that the this weekend there was another attack by another vet, and I'm going to drop this in right now from Timcast News. This took place over the weekend, and really, you guys, when I didn't actually click the actual one like this, that's what I'm looking for. So this happened this weekend as well. 40-year-old Nigel Edge was arrested in connection with a mass shooting that took place in Southport, North Carolina. He was an Iraq War veteran in 2006. It's the second mass shooting in under 24 hours committed by an Iraq War veteran. So, our veteran community has always been dealing with post-traumatic stress, including especially in the aftermath of the global war on terror. So these are things that we have to discuss and take into account as well. So he was dead at the scene within minutes, which I'm going to throw out. Maybe medical bills were piling up. It's been 10 years. Maybe he needed the insurance money, right? And having an incident like this is a way to get it. I don't know. That you guys can rip me up in the chat if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, call me a fool. It's okay. It's okay. But I'm just trying to. This is not an A to B situation. They're going to try. The left is going to try and draw a line. American flags equals conservative mass shooting. Conservatives bad. That's how this is going to go. We already see it's starting to form within leftist media. I'm sure all day today that's what was being talked about. So this is the things that are very the advancedness or how advanced this attack was. It wasn't just the truck going into the services and opening fire. It was several IEDs on church property. The vehicle, firearm, and IEDs were premeditation and sophistication beyond spontaneous act of violence. We don't know if this guy was a member of this church or if he knew a member of this church and had a perceived grudge against them. Now, there are reports, and these are the first 24 hours, reports that he was asking people's religious affiliation. But if he was asking people's religious affiliation and then you had IEDs planted at the scene, those two things don't lock up. Investigators are focused on the possibility of personal grievances. Mental health and radicalization as motives. So we are in the early, we're not even 24 hours into this investigation. That'll be about 10 a.m. Eastern time today. Once again, the show's being recorded at 6 a.m. Because I will be in class all day. So I want to make sure I get this out to you. But we'll talk about this tomorrow. Any advancements on this, anything that needs to be looked at or dissected a little bit more. The fact of the matter is, what you need to take from this as Catholics, Christians, is that you need to up your game when it comes to the defense of your religious institutions. You cannot in any way, shape, or form relax at this time. No matter where you are, your religious institution could be subject to some kind of violent encounter. And I think most men need to readjust themselves and reorient themselves to that reality. Because unfortunately, that reality is here. So it's unfortunate, but this is our modern, right now, it doesn't have to be forever, but this is our modern state, this picture. It doesn't matter who you are. It can find you. So make sure that you are taking the proper steps to protect those and those around you, yourself and those around you. All right, folks, like I said, this is just going to be a quick show updating as much as I have on the LDS attack that took place yesterday. I will have an update for you tomorrow as well. If you once again, if you're joining us late and you're like, why is the show a little weird? I'm recording this at 6 a.m. because my normal time, 6 p.m. Central Time. I'm getting out of an AR-15. I'm taking the course to become an AR-15 instructor from the USCCA, and it's a 3-day course from 9 to 6. And I'm just not going to have the energy to give you guys a show the way you deserve tonight. So I'm recording it this morning, so you have something to watch, and hopefully the wrenches are gathering together and you guys can have a good time in the comment section. So I will speak to you all. I will talk to you all tomorrow here on Rickcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. God bless. And well, let me say it again. I will see you tomorrow on Tuesday, the 30th of September. God bless, and Viva Cristo Rey.